Okay, now we're going to deal with Brother Leighton's interpretation of John 6. And I'd also like to deal with a couple of other things like his rabbit versus a duck analogy. Actually, this is one of the things that Erasmus kind of brought up with Luther, that the scriptures in ways are obscure, and that that we gotta be careful because there's a lot of obscurity in the scriptures and all this. Well, that's not true. God has made his scriptures clear, but we need to research in order to understand what they mean. They're not obscure. It's not the duck and the rabbit, like the Bible is some kind of Rorschach test. You know what I mean? We see what we want to see. No, the scriptures are clear. They have one meaning. And what our job is to research and figure out what they mean. Okay, so, but anyway, I understand maybe kind of the spirit of what he's saying, that we got to kind of dig deeper and we need to look at things from different perspectives. That's fine, that's fine. But the Bible is clear, and God made his revelation clear. We just have to research to understand it. Okay, so now it is, some of the things are hard for us to understand as fallen humans. And we need to be cautious when we interpret them and come to them. But they are clear for us to understand. So that's the intention. And again, they're not a Rorschach test where we kind of see what we want to see or anything like that. And I don't think hopefully he's not implying that. But it's kind of, I've heard some people say that the Bible has different interpretations and they both can be true. And I don't think he would hold that, but I just want to stay clear of that type of thinking. But here's his interpretation on John 6.
Incapacity to respond willingly to God, and therefore you need the irresistible grace to make you want to do that. That's the way they're seeing that duck of their systematic within this text. Now,
so again, there's the duck and the rabbit, right? He's saying we're seeing the duck and we need open eyes to see the rabbit too. Maybe there's another alternative. Okay.
How do we as traditionalists understand this passage, okay? So you've understood, hopefully, the Calvinistic rendering. Now, how do we understand it? We would say, no one can come to me unless the Father who sent me enables them, okay? Because the word elko, if you look at the lexicon, there's several ways to translate it, okay, which we'll go through here in a bit. So elko, yes, can be and has been in some passages interpreted as to drag or to compel. And in other times, it's interpreted as to draw or to enable or to entice, something like that. Okay, so we understand the word elko to mean the Father who sent me enables them, and I will raise those who come at the last day.
Okay, now this is interesting to me. Now he makes a big deal of this, the drawn, the word for drawn, right? The elko, right? He makes a big deal of that, and it's true. Like it could go either way. There, you're drawn or you're dragged. There's some verses that it means drag. There's some that it means just drawn, or and in John 6 it talks about the enabling, which is absolutely true. You can, and R.C. Sproul did talk about that this can mean drag, and he's kind of using it as a rhetorical point about the text. But that's not the main point, I think, in the text itself. And this is where I'm concerned with this translation he has. Now, I don't know if you can see it, but it says here, no one can come to me unless the Father who sent me enables them. It says them, plural. Now, that, of course, them could mean one person, like a him, but then it says, and I will raise those who come. That is definitely inferring a plural group of people coming. In the Greek, it's singular, him. Okay? Auton. Look it up for yourself. The pater, elkosen, auton. There's auton. There's the raised up, auton. So the correct translation of this would not be them and those who come. It would be the Father sent me enables him, and I will raise him at the last day. I will raise him up at the last day. It's a singular, and that's the same person. So the point that we make, Brother Leighton, is that when God enables, draws, drags, whatever you want to say, that word is just, that's a part of the thing, okay? That's a part of the point that some Calvinists like to make the dragging. They try to push that, into that. But the point is that when the Father draws, enables, drags, that him, auton, is raised up on the last day. So what the traditionalists' interpretation would fail here. Okay, he's saying that it could mean that he draws, but then you have to come. And that's another thing. It says, those who come. It does not say those who come. Now, of course, when the Father draws you to Christ, you're going to come. And here the text makes it clear. When the Father draws you, you're not simply going to come. You're going to be raised up on the last eschatological day. And that's the eschatological life. Obviously, it's not going to raise you up to throw you in hell. Okay? It's talking about when the Father draws you, you will be raised up on the last day. It doesn't say those who come. It sounds, don't get me wrong, the people that are drawn by the Father will come. It's kind of like when Jehovah's Witnesses put in Colossians chapter 1, he's the creator of all other things. Those who come. So anyway, this text is teaching that when the Father draws you, you will come. Now let's listen here. I want to see if I need to deal with anything else.
And so no one can come, that's the them he's referring to in our understanding, unless there's enabled by God. Okay, they can't come to Jesus unless they're enabled, granted to come by God. And those who do come will be raised up in the last day. That would be our rendering of it. So now the Greek structure allows for the author to be referencing them who come and not necessarily all those who are drawn, which is the way the Calvinist obviously takes that. For instance, if the sentence translated in English were structured in this manner, the intention might be more obvious. Only those drawn by the Father may come. I will raise up them, those that come, at the last day.
Again, this to me is like the Muslims saying, well, it's got to be phrased in this exact way. Jesus has to say, I am God, the second person of the Trinity, worship me, The way this should be taken is the Reformed view. That is the way this is definitely implying the Reformed view of effectual calling, and not simply effectual calling, but perseverance of the saints. Because when you're drawn by the Father, when he is drawn by the Father, okay? Right, what he says in John 6, okay? John 6. The singular, the auton, him. When he is drawn by the Father, he will be raised up at the last day. No one can come to me unless, and this shows too, total depravity. No one can come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, auton. Not them. You can translate it them if you mean a singular person. And of course it implies a group. It could imply a group of people that when the Father draws a group, they're going to come. It could mean that, but it's him. It's auton. And I will raise him, auton, up on the last day. Total depravity, you can't come unless the Father draws you. Effectual calling, when the Father draws you, you will be raised up on the last day. If this is not the case, then Christ is a liar. Because he's not going to, if the Father just draws or enables people and then they have to come on their own or something like this, then they won't. Then there are those that will, through their libertarian free will deny Christ or turn away, and they won't be raised up by Christ on the last day to eschatological life. So now I'll put it up there. You can look at it yourself. Anyway, this is John 6, and look into it for yourself. Look at the context. This definitely teaches total depravity, effectual calling, and perseverance of the saints. Not this, if the Father draws you, you might make it. You have to come on your own. Now, of course, if you are drawn by the Father, you'll come to Christ, and that's what the context it makes clear. But this passage, this text here shows that when you're drawn, you will be raised up on the last day. That's the bottom line. Okay, God bless.